Hey man, every high-value man has two sides, his edge and his softness, his discipline and his heart, his grounded presence and his quiet warmth. But here's where most men go wrong. They offer their soft side too early, too easily. They think that being vulnerable, emotionally available, and open from the jump shows maturity. What they don't realize is that true softness has to be earned, because if you give it away without a filter, before she's shown you who she is, before she's proven she can hold it, it won't be appreciated, it'll be taken for granted, or worse, used against you. The man who gives his softness too quickly usually does it from fear, not power. He's afraid of being misunderstood. He wants to prove he's not like other men. He wants to make her feel safe, seen, cared for. But in that rush to connect, he opens too much, too soon. And that early vulnerability, without testing her energy first, makes him emotionally exposed in the wrong way. He ends up bonding before she's earned it. He gives depth before she's shown character. And instead of being respected for his openness, he ends up chasing the emotional closeness he gave away too fast. But when you learn to make her earn access to your soft side, everything changes. Because now, you're not just open, you're disciplined with your openness. You're not hiding, you're filtering. And that filtration system becomes the very thing that creates polarity, because your softness isn't common. It's not available on demand. It's something she has to reach, something she has to earn. And the moment she realizes it's not handed out freely, it becomes valuable. And value is what builds long-term emotional investment. Your edge should be what she meets first. Your clarity, your standards, your presence, the way you hold your frame, the way you stay grounded under pressure. That's what establishes leadership. That's what separates you from the emotional men she's used to. And when she feels that edge, when she realizes she can't move you with games, silence, or mood swings, she begins to respect you. Not because you're hard, but because you're disciplined. And respect is the only real doorway to accessing your heart. If you want her to earn your soft side, you need to stop giving emotional access in exchange for attraction. You don't open up just because she's beautiful. You don't share your past just because she's sweet. You don't drop your guard just because she seems different. You watch, you observe, you test for consistency, not chemistry. Because chemistry is easy, but consistency is earned. And when you base emotional access on her consistency, not her charm, you instantly shift the power dynamic. Now you're not the one hoping to be accepted. She is. Softness isn't weakness, but unearned softness always feels like it. If she hasn't had to navigate your standards, if she hasn't had to face your boundaries, if she hasn't had to calibrate to your tempo, then your emotional openness won't land the way you want it to. She'll feel it as neediness, she'll sense it as emotional dependence. But when it comes after structure, after control, after strength, that same softness becomes devastatingly attractive. Because now she knows not everyone gets to see this version of you. The strongest men you'll ever meet are soft in selective moments. They show vulnerability with precision, not as a weapon, not as a performance, but as a gift. And women feel the difference. A man who bleeds his emotions all over her early on creates a mess. But the man who lets her feel his fire, then slowly shows his warmth, that man becomes unforgettable. Because he's not trying to be understood, he's letting her earn understanding, one layer at a time. So how does she earn it? Through respect, through consistency, through emotional maturity. When she stops testing and starts aligning, when she listens without trying to fix, when she holds your silence instead of rushing to fill it, when she responds to your pace without pressuring you to match hers, all of those behaviors signal something powerful. She's capable of holding your emotional world without breaking it. And when you sense that, that's when you begin to slowly let her in. You should also reward good behavior, not words. If she's soft, you become slightly more open. If she's consistent, you show a little more of your story. If she listens deeply, you drop your tone a bit. You open in layers based on how she shows up. And that layering creates a rhythm. She starts realizing the more aligned she is, the deeper you go. And that progression, that slow burn intimacy, that's what makes the bond real, not just emotional, earned. When a woman feels your edge before your softness, something awakens in her. She becomes more intentional with her words. She slows down her energy. She stops playing. Because deep down, She knows she's not dealing with a man who gives his affection to whoever shows up pretty. She's dealing with a man who guards his light. And the more she realizes your softness isn't available on demand, the more she craves it, not as entertainment, not as comfort, but as a privilege. And that's how you separate yourself from every man who handed over his emotional depth for free. You become a man who can't be bought, only earned. Every time you reveal your softness without her earning it, you make it less sacred. You normalize emotional intimacy for someone who hasn't earned emotional responsibility, and that's where men get hurt, because they gave someone access to the most sensitive, honest, delicate parts of themselves, and that person didn't respect it, not because she was cruel, but because you didn't require anything before opening that door. But when you only open it for the woman who's proven herself, who's consistent, patient, emotionally grounded, then your softness lands like a gift, and it becomes unforgettable. Softness isn't just in your words, it's in your availability, your presence, your protection. The way you hold her when she's vulnerable, the way you listen without judgment, the way you care without ever needing her to validate your care. And when she realizes that kind of emotional access isn't something you give to everyone, when she starts to understand that your calm, your patience, your tenderness only come out in earned, rare moments, she'll stop looking for love elsewhere. Because now she's felt something most men don't know how to give, and even fewer know how to withhold properly. You must also have the discipline to pull back if she stops earning it. If her energy shifts into games, control, chaos, manipulation, you re-engage the filter. You don't keep pouring warmth into someone who's showing coldness. You don't keep being emotionally present for someone who's no longer matching your respect. You pause, you recenter, and if the behavior doesn't shift, you pull away completely. That kind of emotional regulation teaches her something deep. Your softness is not unconditional, it's based on mutual honor, and that makes it even more powerful when she gets it back. When a woman knows she has access to your full range, your fire and your gentleness, but only when she's earned it, she no longer plays with your attention. She no longer takes your presence for granted. She shows up differently, more consistently, more grounded. And she begins to trust you, not just because of how much you care, but because of how wisely you give that care. And that wisdom becomes the foundation of a bond that's not just romantic, it's emotionally intelligent. The more a woman works for your softness, the more she respects the version of herself that earns it. And that's the hidden magic in this. When you require her to rise in order to access your warmth, you actually help her become a better woman. Not because you told her what to do, but because your presence demanded it. And once she sees herself at that level, once she starts moving with more grace, calm, and maturity, she starts to realize you were never withholding anything. You were waiting for her to become ready to hold it. Your softness should feel like a secret, something not everyone knows about you, something she discovers slowly, not from your Instagram captions, not from your first few dates, but from those quiet moments where she's shown up fully and you decided to let her in a little more. That process is what builds emotional safety, not dumping everything on her at once, but inviting her deeper one layer at a time, and each layer she earns makes her appreciate what's underneath even more, because she knows it's not available to everyone, it's exclusive to her alignment. The world doesn't need more open men, it needs more discerning men, men who can love deeply, but only when that love is reflected back with truth, men who can feel fully, but don't hand their emotions to anyone who smiles their way, men who aren't afraid to be soft, but only after they've seen the strength in someone else's consistency. That kind of man, he's not guarded, he's not closed off, he's just so grounded in self-respect that even his vulnerability becomes a form of dominance. That's what women crave, not access to your emotions, but access to the man who chooses carefully, who gets to see them. So if you've been hurt before, if you've been misunderstood, if you've opened too quickly in the past, don't shut down, just filter better. Don't stop being soft, just stop giving your softness to women who haven't earned it. Make them rise, make them reflect, make them show you, through actions, that they can handle the rare, powerful, emotionally honest version of you that few get to see. And when they prove it, then you give them something so rare, so powerful, so human, that they never stop trying to earn it again. So remember this, man, your softness is not your weakness, it's your gold, it's your sacred center, it's the part of you that very few should ever touch. It's not something you give away to be liked, it's something you share only when it's safe, respected, and returned. And when you carry that energy, when you protect what's soft, and reveal it only when a woman has truly shown up with grace, you become something unforgettable. Something that lingers, something she tells her friends about but can't fully explain. Because now, she hasn't just seen your edge, she's touched your light, and she knows what it took to earn it.